hook up. All right. Let's start coming in now. We'll just wait for the first one. Well, yeah, we've been getting suppressed a little bit, but that's nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah, definitely not surprised, especially now. I mean, they're, you know.
Here we go.
All right.
Todd Medina, Soulogy One Studios. What's going on here? Democracies, aristocracies, oligarchies, monarchies, hierarchies, presidents and popes. What's the real dope? What's this all about? Faith, hope, doubt? That's all that earth stuff, man. I am a multi-dimensional, high-vibrational, evolutionary being, and I'm tired of hiding it. I am soul. I don't care who or what tried or is trying to deceive us. Call it the devil or another's Messiah, prophet, or God. It's all the same to me. Whoever they are, they can never take our souls, and that's when we came here to learn. From the burn of being wrong, denying who we are, taking orders, lawless laws, a branded existence, but not anymore. I am divinity. Yeah. Alright. The power we hold to mold the future, heavenly nirvana. From the inside, present, eternal. It's time to be a bolder flame. The game isn't the same. We are the spirit science synthesis, the action of conscious thought, alignment, transmuting to a living wisdom. Yeah. No longer dreaming the life, I am living the dream.
All right, we got Stephen Savage in the house.
Hello.
What's happening? I know you've been in isolation lately. I just thought we jump on. We hadn't talked in a while, so I figured we'd jump on and do a show because you sent me a note, and in your note you said, "Happy holidays, you and Morgan. This is it!" Exclamation point. I've been feeling that we made it for a while now. It's official now! Exclamation point. I have now fully accepted it. That's one of the last big steps. So why is it official? What is it? What's happening?
Well, once again, timing, right? I mean, come on now. Do I have to say more? Timing is freaking beautiful. Always has been, always will be. We just now see it. But I will say the official, because it started a few months ago. I even said something to you. I said something on my video, I think, about it, that I feel like that we're already here. But officially, when this solstice, oh my God, I mean, it's like, wow. Like literally, it's ever since then, I can't go back. Like if I try to even attempt to not be in the fifth dimensional kind of, mind frame, vibration, frequency, if I attempt to even for a fraction of a second, it's like, boop, it kicks me out. I can't even go back anymore. That's how I know it's official. That's how I know, bam, we're here. Shit is real.
Yeah, it is real.
It is real.
So give me an example of like when you go back.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example, especially today, because I'm not going to use names, obviously, because people watch, But I'll just say some people that are very close to me, that live close to me, which they don't watch. Which they don't. The people I'm talking about now actually don't watch this because they just don't believe in any of this stuff. But people close to me that I actually spent time with them today, and I was over there. And normally when I'm over there, I find myself having to, maybe have a couple of tokes and maybe a couple of drinks just to even kind of accept and just be in that kind of energy. And today, I was just like, I was faced with every choice that normally I would make in the past where I would choose that. Every time, it was like 4 or 5 different choices that were put right in my face with the exact thing that I like. And every time I was just like, oh, no, I'm good. And it wasn't even a question. It wasn't like I had to think about it. It was just like, holy shit, I really can't go back anymore. Even if I want, I can't. I really can't. And And I was sitting there watching, this happen. These people, they're, arguing back and forth and just, playing a lot of ego stuff and, kind of manipulation, all those rules. I mean, all those games. And I was just sitting back. I was just like, wow. I'm like, I feel like I'm in a play, and I'm sitting in the seats and just watching it.
Right.
I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I'm here. I can interact with it, but it's not me. It's like, it's literally, I'm not a part of that. Whenever I would try to like actually join into a little discussion, I noticed I was just like, boom, I would keep backing back out, because it's like, I could say like a word or two, but like my frequency and their frequency, or just other frequency in general, it's just, there's no way, there's no matching anymore. There's no meshing anymore. So I used to be able to mesh.
Do you stay in that environment, or did you have to leave?
No, I stayed there. See, that's another thing too. Well, I'll tell you about this. We'll go ahead and finish that. I did stay for probably about 2 or 3 hours, because they were all sitting around, playing poker and stuff. And I just don't feel that. I mean, I used to play poker, but I just really, I'm not about that anymore. And I was just sitting back and just watching them. And I was just all in amazed. I'm like, because I used to think, especially years ago when I first started this, well, like everybody always said, which is actually true in one standpoint, that you do need to stay away from people that are, poisonous to you and all that kind of stuff. I understand that in the beginning, but what I've learned is that that's not really true once you reach a certain point, because now the more I've spent around those type of people, it's raised me up 10 times higher and 10 times faster. And now I've accepted it, because I haven't been cutting things out of my life. It's not I choose you or not to choose you. It's not that duality stuff. Like now it's like I accept it all. And now that I accept it all for what it is and for all the roles that they play, it's okay. I can, like, it doesn't, like, I'm good now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to watch myself around certain people that trigger me, because that doesn't happen anymore. Right. And when it does happen, and like occasionally when it does happen, trigger a little bit, I'm able to catch it within a fraction of a second.
So people have talked about on the show that, whether it be couples or individuals or both, when they go out to social engagements, mm-hmm. that because of their frequency, or you might call it illumination, they tend to experience some shadow, either an observation or as a projection upon them. Have you experienced any of that?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was referring to, how it just kind of feels like you're watching a play. It's like, because it's just too different. Like, because I would say even just a few weeks ago, or even I'll say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I still felt like my frequency, even though it was different than theirs, but I was still able to play in their frequency. But like I said, now it literally is. I mean, because I don't want to use the word separation. That's just not, because that's not what it is. Like I said, it's more acceptance. Like I see that play going on, and I'm not trying to change it anymore. I'm not trying to.
Would you say that you went from being able to dance in both, let's just call it 3D and 5D, without being attached to that. But would you say that you went from being able to go back and forth with relative ease, and now you're in the 5D and you really just can't hang in those environments? Or like you did today, you can, but you still hold your 5D frequency?
Well, actually, yes, that's a good way to put it. Is that I used to be able to play in it, like, as not too long ago, I used to be able to play in it pretty easily. But now it's not that I can't play in it. It's now that I actually enjoy watching it. Because before it was a difference. It was like, oh, that's 3D, that's lower vibration. I need to stay away from it, because I want to be here, and I want to be here, and I want to be here. But what I witnessed today, and especially in the last few days, is it's not that I no longer have any thoughts or feelings or emotions of wanting to escape the so-called third dimensional reality. Like that's completely gone now.
Yeah, you just hang.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And I learned, like, I'm getting, like, my intuition is on freaking fire, first of all, and I'm getting like, I'm learning almost every fraction of a second now. Like, every time I look at something, every time I'm around somebody, I'm like, oh, I'll learn this, and I'm like, my mind's, my body's just like, yes, You know what I mean? And it's just exploding, and it's freaking awesome.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
hang on, man, hang on. But yeah.
And
so
do you feel like well, you mentioned this earlier before we started the show, that you've been in isolation for quite a while. A lot of people, especially in December, especially since the 12th, have been in isolation. And you mentioned that you have been, I think you've been in isolation for a bit longer than that.
Almost 4 months. Actually, it was just over 3 months, because I look back at my YouTube video. I did 48 videos, and my last one I put up was just over 3 months ago, and that's exactly when I went in isolation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so what happened during this isolation? Were you mostly by yourself, or were you
mostly by myself and dipping? Oh yeah, definitely dipping, because like I said, I have those people in my life that are right down the street. So I would go over there.
Your homeboys.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, it's like, because a lot of other people, a lot of other ears, or a lot of other voices, you know, from the outside went into me, would tell me, you know, stay away from them, stay away. That's bad. That's bad. You need a blah blah. You know, and I'm just like, that don't feel right.
That's that purity ego voice. That ego voice that says, "Wow, I'm clever," right? Like, I got this. I'm different. Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is I have faith and confidence in myself, and faith and confidence in the universe, and just how all this works. And that is one of the main things that got me to where I am today. And that's why I know the future. I don't even want to think of the future, because it's so beautiful. It's like, I'm enjoying this moment. I'm enjoying this shit right now, right here. You know?
So you sent me a video. A lot of people know this dude, Ralph Smart.
Oh yeah.
Ralph Smart. He's on Infinite Waters, Diving Deep.
Diving deep once again. Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's let's see, he's got 1,000,086 subscribers. I've seen him around since I got a laptop in 2013. Yeah. And started surfing a little bit. This one that he put up was put up today.
Yeah, just a little bit ago.
Yeah, it's already got 20,000 likes on it. It's called "How to Tell You're in the Fifth Dimension. It's About to Get Epic." You listened to this video. I didn't. Give us a little summary of it.
Well, basically, just how I sent you that message is like, this is confirmation, because I've been feeling this, like me in myself, but I haven't seen it. Like, I haven't seen it, not really seen it, because I don't expect the world to show me what I already know. But like, I haven't felt that it was also outside of me, like around me. But now that I feel like the fifth dimension is not just within me, it's all around me now. And that's basically, well, in that video, he goes through a lot of details about different ways you can tell, like, if you're, going into the fifth dimension, which, I mean, it's a beautiful video, talks about, like, basically if you question things and if you're, well, just I don't want to ruin it for you. The video is freaking amazing, but the video was an official confirmation for the masses, for the collective. That's what it was for me. And when you watch that video, like I said, he goes through and gives you different ways and ideas to where you realize that, hey, you know what? You are actually already in the fifth dimension. Because that's one thing I've been thinking or feeling for months and months and months now. I'm like, because everyone keeps saying, no, we're not there yet. No, we're not there yet. And I'm like, that don't feel right. That does not feel right. And basically, he's saying the same thing in this video. And he goes in great detail like he always does. And his vibration is so high and beautiful. Yeah. I love this guy.
I saw a post today, and I'm writing some commentary on it that I'll put out later. Yeah. And it says, number 1, a stronger sense of compassion. Number 2, loss of fear.
Oh, yeah.
Number 3, loss of polarity of judgment. Number 4, easily adaptable, which I think you just described and experienced today. Number 5, acceptance of light and dark. Number 6, power to create reality. Number 7, rapid manifestation of intention. And number 8, mission to be of service to others. I thought it was and it's got a nice graphic to it. I thought it was a pretty cool
Yeah.
meme. So I started to write something because I've been feeling like something's building up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really want to get into a whole lot of masculine and feminine stuff, but that's another thing that I'm feeling really strong is like the masculine has arrived. And I guess, you know, in literal terms, to me, what that means is that energy is available and accessible. And like everything else, in order to obtain any higher level of energy or frequency, we've got to continue to do the work. You can't just have done the work. You never just done the work. You got to continue to keep doing the work. So I started kicking all this stuff around because I got shown a few things last night and this morning, I guess in dream state, and then this morning or when I woke up. And it was kind of like, what's out there? Like, what are we putting before us? We have this highest physical manifestation of the ethers that we call the internet. We go in there, we search, we find alignment, we find resonance, we find kindredness, we find validation. But we also walk this tightrope of where we're looking for a belief system to take over the highest one we have at this point, right? And I started looking at it because I've been looking at some of, I would just say, contemporary platforms to Soulogy. And so I was coming up with this. There is a phenomena occurring in this realm and beyond. We can call it ascension, awakening, woke, or an unveiling. There are people all over this world experiencing a shift, and it's not proved by science or by the physical senses, but by the incessant beat of the almighty soul. It's beyond conspiracies, soft disclosures, viruses, quarantines, masks, and questions of election fraud. There exists the real story of what's happening, and frankly, it's not talked about enough. We're stepping into our true, authentic, genuine power, and it all occurs by way of the individual's choice made in the name of personal sovereignty, meaning that it has nothing to do with anyone outside of you. We have and will continue to overcome all things put before us in this grand design. GMOs, chemtrails, fluoride, false narratives, pharma, you name it, we transformed it. And we will continue to. But now we're integrating all polarities one by one, owning every aspect of dark and light. And I'm halfway through this or whatever it is. And what popped into my head was the QAnon movement mantra. Where one goes, we all go. We go all, right? And so I started to write, that has no relevance. That has no relevance. I'm sorry. That has no relevance, power, or grace, unless it is applied to any and all things with no exception. And I think this is what we're faced with as we go into 2021, particularly in the light worker circle or the way shower circle, the first waver circle, whatever you want to call it. People that think they're woke or people that are congregating on the platforms that we visit. And there is a higher level of integration that I believe we're embodying and anchoring onto the earth that supersedes this us against them mentality to include the narratives of somebody controlling us, because we're awoke now and we can't be controlled. And I think this is what we're going to see in the first part of the year. We're going to see, I'm going to do everything I can, Soulogy's going to do everything it can to include having a conversation with David Icke in the first part of January, which is already scheduled. And I'll put the announcement out a couple of days before. But to bring together the disclosure, conspiracy, truther platforms, and what we'll call light worker starseed platforms, to bring them into one place where we can start to integrate and be unified and be in neutrality, which to me would be a huge cosmic explosion through this holy matrix grid. Thank you for letting me get all that out. I'll give it back over to you.
I mean, dude, that's right on point. Like everything you just read, everything you just said. Hello, welcome to the party, brother. You know what I mean? That's it, man.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And that's the thing, is acceptance. Accept without acceptance, accept with no exception.
Yeah. Accept with no exception. Yeah.
Accept with no exceptions.
That's right. And this is not something that, although we have full-blown free will, and we're given a choice, and the choices that we make are what create our reality. But this is what you're saying about accept without exception. That's not something any of us have a choice about. And to understand that, if we can go into dimension or connect with our higher self or look from the highest perspective that we can attain and look, let's just say, metaphorically down onto the earth, down onto our lives, we can easily see the divine and perfect orchestration of this whole thing that we all design. But that is a vantage point that supersedes the human polarity. And even though we've come a long way in our human experience, there's still polarity. And accept that there's no exception. Everything has to be owned as it is yourself. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. And just to go back a little bit, those 3 months of basically, just going really, I call it, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, but what that really truly was me embodying that was me just fully embodying. And now that I've, to body it at least to this level, and then the solstice, it's just like an explosion, like literally, like for the last few days, I've been getting downloads and upgrades and all these fancy words, and just like things have just been popping and expanding and blowing up all inside of me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, it's
I feel you, man. My heart's exploding right now. From my sacral to my heart is just, it's like like a lightsaber going like that. When it gets to the heart, it goes like this. It's more like a T, or maybe it's a cross. But I guess I've seen 4 or 5 posts, and they're not all on the surface on the same subject, but they all are the same subject energetically, which I would just put this way, and going back to Ralph Smart and what he said today on the video that you saw. I look at Franco, I look at Morgan, and their intel, which is at minimum 2-3 weeks out in front of us. And even what's been said throughout the year, which is that the golden child energy is being birthed on the solstice, give or take. And I really feel like that this shift has occurred, and this is what you're referring today with the Ralph Smart video, is that it's exploded in a way we don't understand yet, but I think we're going to understand it very, very quickly as we get into, say, the 2nd or 3rd week of January. And what I mean by that is that these things that we're talking about and that we're experiencing is one thing, but what we can do with it is another thing.
That's why I'm getting on the road.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. So you feed it. And so the third energy, the golden child energy, that Holy Spirit energy, whatever you want to call it, that other end of the triad, it starts to reciprocate in a way that it never has. Like instantaneously, miraculously, with huge magnitude, with huge validation and evidence to the individual. And that's what you're about to do.
And it's, oh God, it's so exciting, because just the fact that, like, I just knew that I could trust myself. And that was one of the biggest things that last year and the last 2 years really have been about, was really learning how to trust yourself.
Yeah.
And now that I no longer waver in that, like, at all, like whatever little doubt I used to have, if it tries to sneak up, I can see it before it enters me. If there's a little doubt, that doubt is now on the outside of me. Because before, the doubt would be in, and I would have to recognize it and be like, no, thank you. But now the doubt, I see it outside before it even comes within. I mean, it literally is. It's like I literally see it. Like I don't know whatever they call it, but you know, my vision, like it's there. You know what I mean? Like I see just so much more than I used to. My hearing, like I hear so much more than I used to. I feel so much more, like all my abilities or whatever you call them some bitches are coming online fast and strong.
Right.
You know?
And that's part of what I was referring to as well. That those abilities will be coming online. They are online. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is they and that awareness comes in, let's say 5D comes in or has come in, especially since 12/21 solstice. And it's like, wow, what's this? And then it's like, okay, what can I do with this? And that's what I'm getting at. I think, like, because these higher skills and abilities have come online and they're not leaving, they're not fleeting like a deja vu or a quick intuition. They're actually perpetuating themselves. And now, what do we do with it? What do you think?
Well, I can tell you my initial, feeling on that. My thought on that is that basically it's all about accept. Oh my goodness, where was it?
Yeah, that's a 3D memory. That's a 3D memory.
That literally was like there, and I could feel it start.
You can pull it back. Yeah. You can pull it back.
But yeah, it's oh yeah, this okay, got it. So this time right now, what I think is most important, at least for me, is to not exactly plan or to do, like to not plan anything. Because right now we need to, at least from my perspective, accept, and just keep working on that. It's like, because we're here, we just need to believe it and accept it and feel it and know it. And that's what this next couple of weeks I feel is all about. And then once those next couple of weeks go by and we're just so much more in our authenticity, then we can start doing some shit. And then we're going to be working together at a level that we can only dream of right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm feeling right now. By the way, like I told you earlier before when we first started this, I was given 2 hats this year for free, by the way. And both of them Goodyear hats. I've been wearing them all year. And I was wearing this shirt all day today, and it just so happened to be the one on here. And of course, authentic, vintage. And it's just like, I mean, this is me right here. I'm all about, Goodyear, damn right it is. I don't care what they say. This is a badass year. This is a year of transformation and change and acceptance and embodying. Damn right it's a good year. And being authentic, that's how you do it.
Yeah. So you got 1 hat for 2020 and 1 for 2021.
Yeah. And they both said good year on them. And like I said, both of them were given to me for free, and they're not cheap hats. Because the first one, I got all new tires in my van, and they had these rack of hats. And I'm like, hey, can I have that hat? And they're like, sure. And then about 6 months later, I was getting the oil change, and I was just like, can I have another hat? They're like, sure. Yeah. So I got 2 free hats from the same place, both of them with Goodyear on it. And I was just like, they were just drawn. I'm like, I got to have them.
So another thing I think that's happening too is, and let me get your thoughts on this, because you're about to go on the road in a couple of weeks. And a lot of people did that in 2020, and some of the years prior, no doubt. But I mean, it's not so much the literal thing that you're doing, but the energetic thing you're doing, which is atypical or non-conforming to the old paradigm, and that is to go with the energy. So what that looks like on the surface is you're going to get your camping equipment together and you're going to get out on the road, and you're not going to follow a GPS. You're just going to follow your intuition and so on.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, I think, the higher skills and abilities, obviously the higher states of awareness, the 5D anchored fully and becoming a greater and greater part of our reality each and every day. These are the things that have been forecasted. These are the things that Ralph Smart was referring to in the video that you watched today. I think another thing that's a big part of 2021 is the energetic occurrence of collaboration and co-creation, merging, where 2 or more gather,
Oh, yeah.
And I really see that being something that is going to accelerate. What do you think? what are your thoughts on, like getting on the road and you were talking about you're going to turn your phone off. You're not going to follow GPS. You're just going to go on your intuition. What are you feeling?
Exactly. And so basically that's my plan. Get on the road, actually not even just not use my GPS, but turn the phone off, put it in the back of the van. So I just can't naturally just reach over and, oh, let me grab it. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I'll have it if I need it, or if I want to contact somebody, very specific, would go a place that I want to go. But other than that, no, I'm not going to use it. And I'm going to go on the road, and I'm going to I'm going to be 100% available and online to the best of my ability with every single human I meet, and every single tree I meet, and every single place that I go, every forest that I stop in, every park, every whatever it is. And as I go along on my journey, I'm going to connect with so many people, and it's just going to expand. So Todd, by the time I make it to you, I mean, who knows what I'll get accomplished by then. And then it's just going to expand, and then I'm going to meet more people. I might even go to California. Who knows? I've never been to Sedona. So, I mean, there's a lot of places I haven't been. So this is the time, and I'm just going to just wherever it leads me. And just
what about time? What about time?
Don't need it.
What do you,
I have it all.
What do you, like another thing I think that that's been forecasted, and I've seen a little bit more of it talked about in the last 2 or 3 weeks on post, is and we've talked about this for several years. I remember writing stuff back in 2014, 2015 about linear time no longer has a hold on us, or it's disappearing, or it's no longer a part of this experience. I mean, that's when I feel like that's something too that's going to become so consistently aware that we throw our watches away, so to speak. I know I haven't really slept. 2 nights ago, I slept like 2 or 3 hours. I was working in the studio till like 7:30 in the morning. And then I walked out of the door, and I saw there was light outside. I'm like, what the hell? And it didn't seem to faze me. I had a full day yesterday. We stayed up really late binge watching a really cool series. Went to bed about 4:30 or 5. Connected with Morgan, as we do every night, for probably at least 45 minutes or an hour. So I don't know what time it was. I went to bed. I didn't get up till about 11:30. But still, there doesn't seem to be the that biological thing about you got to sleep during these hours and you work during these hours and you got to eat at these times. And all seems to all be going away. Do you think that's going to be a factor? You feel anything like that?
Oh, most definitely. I'll say for the last year at least, that's how I've been living my life. It doesn't matter, like I have to sleep at this time, I have to be awake at this time. No, if my body says take a nap, take a nap. If my body wakes up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like it has been doing a lot lately, I get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I stay up, and I just enjoy the day. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't feel guilty. Oh, I looked at the clock, it was 3 o'clock. Let me try to go back to bed. Not that. You know what I mean? I don't know. That doesn't matter. I'm not concerned. That literally is not even in my awareness anymore, when it comes to the time, unless if I have an appointment. Sure, time matters.
Yeah.
But other than that, does it really matter? I mean,
I know. I connected with you and today, and I was like, hey, you want to do a show? And you're like, yeah, right now? And I'm like, yeah. And then as I was getting prepared, setting everything up, I thought, well, I wonder if this is how it's going to go. Because for some reason, and Morgan always has an incredible intuitive foresight. This has been our slowest month on shows in I think 4 years, and the last month we did 86 shows, and I guess this is all, this is all perfect. It's all perfection. But there's not, I think maybe 3 shows planned for next week. There's probably not 10 shows scheduled between now and the end of January.
Yeah.
Which isn't out of the ordinary, because sometimes that's how she does it. She'll load it up at the end of the month.
That's the scheduling. That's the scheduling. Wait and see what happens. Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. So I'm like, I said, let's jump on. As I'm getting ready, I'm thinking, I wonder if this is how it's going to go this next few days. I'm just going to start hitting people up and go, let's jump on right now. You know what I mean?
I definitely feel that's going to happen. I mean, great. Just like crazy. A lot more people are going to connect and just hit you up, or you're going to hit them up. You're going to get that feeling, you know what I mean? And it's going to happen. But of course, there's still going to be people that, they're going to, because they still have priorities, and in the world that they still kind of want to go by the clock in some ways, which is perfectly fine. But I see as the year, you know, just keeps going on next year, and maybe halfway through, maybe towards the end, who knows? I mean, maybe time really won't even be a thing anymore. I mean,
that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm talking about.
Maybe not. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, I mean, if for all intents and purposes, if we are, okay, so the way I understand it is, and I really don't I like talking about labels or getting lost in semantics. But for the sake of the discussion, 3D is the paradigm that we left. We always talk about going 3D to 5D. Well, for what is 4D? My understanding, 4D, I'm not saying it's gospel, is time and space. So if 5D is what it is, there is no time and space. And so we're talking about time, and a lot of people have talked about it throughout the year, how they've had these little anomalies and aberrations and stuff like that. And we're talking about it now. The next element's space. You know, we can talk about astral projection. We can talk about teleportation and bilocation and all that stuff. But to me, yeah, time is literally not a part of our reality. So what's next? I mean, I think it would be a lot easier for us to accept there's no time than there's no gravity.
Well, also, too, oh, definitely, we'll get there. But
that's what I mean by space.
I mean, if you think about it, though, I mean, if you think about time, like, all right, if you're not in your mindset constantly, and if you're not planning things out, then because time is about, you know, consecutiveness, this and then this and then this and then this and then this. So if you're not always in your mind, and if you're not using your brain to control your reality like we always have, then really time doesn't, it's kind of pointless, because I mean, time really exists if I'm going to wake up at this and do this, if I'm going to go to work and do this, and if I'm going to come home and do this, then sure, you need time. But if your reality doesn't consist of, I'm going to plan things out, I'm going to go with the flow. Yeah, exactly. Then time is completely.
Well, if you think about it, and truly, if you think about it, time is a program of, let's just say 3D. Time is a program of 3D. Being anchored in the physicality to the place that you're in is another program. So if those two are gone, what do you have? You have a dream state. You have a lucid dream state. You have a consciousness that can, with the blink of an eye, go from one place to another, that anything can appear, that anything can happen. They're all possibilities. I mean, this is something that we're I would say, at a minimum, given the opportunity to experience in our physical bodies.
No, I know that's something that I've been comprehending as much as I possibly can, just in the last few weeks, last few months, about, hold on, okay, let's say that, yeah, we've ascended before, and I'm sure it's normally when we leave our bodies, you know, in our recent history, I imagine. But let's bring it back to Atlantis or Lemuria. You know, it's like, okay, we were a fifth dimensional or up creature, and we slowly went down to the third. I mean, okay, this time we started down here, and now we're going this way. I mean, as far as I know, that hasn't happened that way before, because before we were always up here playing around down here, and now we're down here, forgot about we were up here, and now we're like, oh shit, oh, you know, so now we're going the opposite way. So we're doing the cycle, you know, we start, you know, I mean, it's like, it's all coming together, the big egg, you know, it's like, it's all coming together.
No, I get that.
And we actually get to use our bodies. Like, that is a beautiful,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the fact that we can use this, and I mean, just imagine what these are going to be capable of here. I mean, tomorrow, you know, I mean, who knows, you know, just imagine once these are fully online, or at least online to a whole different degree than what they have been. I mean, who knows how capable these things are going to be? I mean, really, you know?
Well, and I think that's another thing that's going to be quickly aligned, is that because, and I've experienced this a lot, because in 2,500 shows, I've met a lot of different people, and they have all of them have very remarkable stories They're getting incredible, powerful downloads and channelings and transmissions. And we talked about this earlier. We joked about it earlier. But there's the ego side of experiencing that type of thing, where you believe that you are unique or part of a unique, special group. And one of the things that I watched a little bit of this year through these shows and knowing these people and having them on again sometimes and all that is watching them move into more oneness by giving up their specialness in terms of uniqueness. Okay. I mean, we're all special. What I'm really getting at is that the alignment that I'm referring to is one where we realize that every single person can do everything I can do, and I can do everything they can do. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, wow, I can do this, or I can channel that, or here's my light language. And I'm not making fun of any of them. I'm just saying that we all got it. You know, we all have it. And I've seen kind of an evolvement of it this year through different people who've been on the show, where they've elevated.
Yeah.
You know, that's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. I mean, it's like, and also too, I mean, if you think about that, I mean, to begin this journey with thinking that you are special and different and a unique flower, and then you find, people that are like-minded, that's, steps along the journey in order to realize, because how hard would it be to realize we're all one unless you realize that you're special first? And then you're like, okay, well, I'm special in this way and you're special in this way. And then as you keep going, then you realize, I mean, that's how you get to oneness, because you have to realize how awesome you are to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, first, accept how awesome you are, even if it's still in separation, even if it's still, and whatever. But that's how we got here, And of course, I mean, everyone keeps saying, and I hate saying that this is the beginning, because it's not. We are way past the beginning. We're playing the game. I mean, like,
that's right.
We're playing it.
That's right. That's why I love talking to Franco, because this is one of the few people, Morgan would be another, that can talk about these things without getting caught up in the words, without getting caught up in having to be right. Just understanding that from the beginning, if we can look at the whole thing and understand, because we haven't left anything, we haven't lost anything. There's just parts of us we put to sleep, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But to be able to look at that from the vantage point of, we're here to learn and we're here to play. It's that simple, right? And then everything else, because like when a post is put up and somebody makes a comment, that have to be right kind of thing, that doesn't exist in 5D, right?
No.
Just like time and space doesn't exist in 5D. We're here to learn and here to play. Do I know that I was in Atlantis, Lemuria, or Egypt, or Orion, or whatever? I really don't know. Okay? What I do know is that I'm alive. I'm in a very special time. There's an amazing, magnificent transformation happening through individuals' experiences around the world. It's not being talked about in the alternate news, much less the mainstream media. It's not. Even if you go to the Lightworker Circle platforms, I see a lot of discussion about, COVID, and they are doing this and they are doing that, and we got to do this. We ain't got to do shit.
Yeah.
Really.
That's the acceptance part.
Well, to me, the best way we can affect things, remember that last thing number 8 said about serving, about service. The best thing we can do is to find out what we are and be that and expand that. Like, what does Stephen like to do? What does Todd like to do? What does Stephen want to do? What does Todd want to do? What in alignment with all this awareness that we have and share, right? I mean, what do we want to do with it? And that actually, when a soul is in alignment with its essence in the moment, which is not a stationary thing, it's an expansion, it's an expanding thing. That energy is like a reverse wake on a boat. It's, you know, the boat go, you know, and the wake's behind it. It's like it's going and the wake's in front of it. And it's like a sonar, and it just lights other souls up. And this is, I think, what's happening right now.
Oh yeah, no, totally, man. It's, yeah. And that's what I'm really, really, one thing looking forward to when I get on this trip. And by the way, I realize, see, today is 26th. Yeah, 26th, Monday. By the way, Monday is my birthday. I'll be 42. And they did say 42 is the answer to the, you know, cosmos or whatever, right? In that Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, right? So
I'm 17 years too late. What's your birthday?
It's December 28th.
28th.
It's on Monday.
Right on.
And so at the end of that week, so basically just the beginning of January is what I want to be on the road. And like I said, I want to start this year just right, pure intuition. Like there's nothing left behind me that I want to take with me anymore. That, I mean, even though it's not, I mean, it's all still a part of me because it's part of who I am, but I don't want to do any of that, you know, just not interested. I mean, and the good thing is
how about if we're talking about being in a reality where there's no time, right? Which is very real. There's people experiencing aberrations and anomalies all over the world. What about the hard matrix itself? And what I mean by that is driver's licenses, social security cards, and pandemic stimulus checks, and taxes, and borders, visas. I mean, if we're stepping into a realm that's changing to the point where time is not a factor, or even something that's exists, can we not affect these things that I just referred to?
We are. Yeah, we're doing it right now.
Just as you're going to get on the road, and somebody else mentioned they did the same thing for the last year a while ago, and you're going to turn your phone off and just follow your intuition, you're not participating in that program we call time or scheduling. How do we eradicate, neutralize, or whatever you want to call it, these programs that I just mentioned, such as lawless laws and rules and regulations and borders and taxes and all that bullshit?
Well, honestly, you know, when I think about that kind of stuff, automatically I get a vision of just a board with a bunch of pins on it. Let's say the board is a third dimensional consciousness.
Right.
And those things you just mentioned are pins on that board that keep us.
That's my point.
Yeah. Exactly.
So how do we okay, let's use that image. So
accept that they're there.
Accept that they're there.
Accept that they're there without exceptions. Don't fight it, because we're beyond that now. So for us to keep thinking,
do we participate? Do we have to disengage?
I found, you know, when it comes to rather engaging or not engaging in something, I don't think about it before. I wait until the bridge appears to me. Then when the choice comes to me, that's when I make the choice in my heart center.
That's good.
You know?
That's good shit. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Everybody's wishing you a happy birthday early.
No, thank you. 42. We did it.
So 42 is the universal number. I'm 17 years late.
Yeah, well, you've been on this journey longer than a lot of us have, that's for sure. But in that movie Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I don't remember exactly what they said, but basically they created this humongous computer, and they asked the computer, it's not verbatim, but they asked the computer, like, what is the answer to life, to existence, and everything? Like that, like it was a very general answer, but basically about everything. And this big old computer for millions and millions of years was compilating this. And then when they came back millions of years later to get the answer, the computer was just like, 42. That's the answer. That's the answer to life, to existence, to everything. That's what the computer came up with. And then the computer was like, well, if you would have given me a more specific question, a more, defined question, I could have given you a better answer. But
so this is gonna be a good year for you, I can tell.
Oh my God, yes. And if it's going to be good for me, it's going to be good for y'all. Because I've witnessed it so many times that what's in here, it literally is the micro of the macro. I mean, I know, because if it's in here, I know it's just a matter of time until it's out there. So I don't worry. I'm good. I'm not concerned.
I got this incredible vision, like I think actually it was last night. It was last night. Because we connected, there was a little bit said, and then most of it was just silence. And it was basically kind of like a picture of the universe, or even like just say the solar system, keep it small, and me, and where I was there. And it looked like, from a human standpoint, where you got this huge reality, and you're just a little, little pinpoint on it. But then it flipped. And the pinpoint became the macro. And inside of that, inside of that body, what I would say the human hybrid soul body, inside of it, I could see like the cells and the networking, all the veins, now at a physical level, but then it became an energetic level, which was basically that I'm running an entire universe, multiverse inside of me, based on what I do as a conscious or unconscious human hybrid soul. It was pretty trippy. I hope I explained that right.
That's freaking awesome. So I mean, what I got from that, is I mean, things are being like the separation that we thought that we were going up in the world, we were leaving the world behind and all that. It's like, well, actually, let's take that and flip it around. It's like, now the world is I mean, like, it's just all coming together. There's the separation that we thought, the big split and all this kind of stuff. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to the people that don't, that are completely asleep and that are deep in fear. I don't know, but guess what? It's not my problem. It really is.
And the thing is, we try to figure this stuff out based on what we can conceive, right? Conceptualize, conceive, right? And really, the way it's going to go, the way I look at it, the way it's going to go is it's something we can't even figure out. We can't even understand it. I mean, it could be, in literal terms, us walking side by side, so to speak, and you've got a great divide and life goes on. It could be anything. It could be all things. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's been talked about a lot. I think that's another thing that it's going to come into more visibility for not just the non-physical part of us, as we expand our awareness, but also the physical experience that we're having. Let's try something. Let's try something new. I'm trying to put some channel feeds together and share the soul expressions of all of our friends, brothers and sisters, and I've been playing with it, and I appreciate everybody engaging it and checking us out, because we've had a good response. I'm going to play a quick 2-minute video of a special sister. We try to get her on, but we respect her discernment and her privacy. Abigail Wainwright, who puts out some amazing videos. I'm going to play this real quick. We're going to take a quick break for 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I didn't make that up, and we'll be right back.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Hello. Shoba Yedida. Such an important message right now for you to take care of yourself, you to see yourself as very important, and to give to yourself, just to embrace the being that you are. We're releasing this self-neglect where we put others before ourselves, and we often abandon ourselves, we reject ourselves, and then we see that in situations outside of ourselves. So this is really coming through very strong right now, is to really Give to self. Put your needs first. Be the center of your universe and have a relationship with yourself. So important. Tupoko a ida shosha shokokoka idada sha shokoya shokoya shaya boko a kobatida. It's time to nurture. Nurture your cells, your inner child, your being, your soul, your body, all of yourself. And just hold yourself through these processes, through these transmutations, through these transitions. Just hold yourself. You're getting through it. Shakaya, Shokoaya, Kepaka, Tapaka, Shu, Kekaya, Shu. Thank you.
I don't know where he went. Here he comes. All right. You disappeared, man.
Yeah, there it is.
Uh-oh.
So hit the wrong button. A little private chat popped up, and then I couldn't get rid of it. And then I hit the back button, and well, you know.
Well, thank God you didn't put it on display. You might have got in trouble.
But yeah, but that was awesome though. And when I was listening to that, there was one thing that popped up, you know, talking about other people, just like I was talking about with, you know, people just, you know, right down the street from me, is that, you know, acceptance is like, I actually accepted them for who they are when they are actually aspects of me. So I've accepted myself. Yeah. I mean, like, wow.
Yeah.
I've accepted all aspects of myself, even aspects of myself that I think are without or outside of me.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
See, that's what I was referring to earlier that I think is going to happen. And I think it's going to happen early in the year, like say in the first 3 or 4 months is where the narratives and the commentary, the shows, the expressions that are in these communities that we call Lightworkers, Starseed, Wayshower, First Wavers, whatever, that because the truth frequency has expanded, anything that is got a hint of separation in it, us against them, you know, good against evil. I mean, I know this might, you know, sound, somebody wants to get really caught up in the specific interpretation of the definitions of the words we're using, but what I'm talking about is energy, where we actually are moving into a state that is resonant to unity consciousness, period. You know, and it's not like hokey, religious, spiritual, new age. You know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about creation. You know, life force, how it expands, how's it birthed and birthed and birthed again and again and again. It's through integrating these polarities, which have, I don't know, to my knowledge, we've never had this level of extremity between polarities, and therefore, when we integrate the far extremes of polarity as we move up the ladder, so to speak, we have these incredible new births. They're not rebirths; they're new births, new creations, new planets, new universes, and they're actually, you know, commanded by our conscious human experience and the choices we make. And like you said earlier, the confidence that we have in the intuitive feed that we're getting from the telepathic universe.
Yeah, and that's one of the most important things is having confidence in yourself, and you know, and believe in those things that you think, or you know, those things that you feel. Just believe, like, you know, because doubt is a big thing. I mean, obviously, because a lot of us have been in doubt forever, you know.
Huge.
And that is something that, because I've been working on that like hardcore for a while, and that is just huge because you can't accept if you have doubt. I mean, doubt is just a big step. If you keep doubting, then acceptance is going to be hard to find. And that's, wow.
Well, I met you in what, April? Something like that.
I think it was about that. Yeah, April. Yeah.
April, I was down in Florida. That's about the time that you kind of came out, right?
Exactly.
You done like 3 or 4 videos, and you came down, and we had a beer and some appetizers, and then we did a show, and I think we did another show, and then another show after that. One of those shows you were talking, I think the last one you were talking about Helios experiences and how it had altered your pattern of, let's just say, intimacy in the physical reality. How's that journey gone for you?
Oh yeah, well that was a huge experience for me, and I've actually had another one of those again recently, by the way, and that, like I said, for me, I still link acceptance to that because I've accepted that, because I used to try to put, the sexual stuff like, all right, let me not do this, or let me, stay away from this, or, which is good because you have to learn how to constrain. You have to learn to actually be, able to make a choice and not just do something because it's in front of you kind of thing, which that helped me, really ground that, the Helios and all that. I'm like, holy shit, I have this within me. Like, I don't need to search for that kind of pleasure, or I don't need to search for any of that kind of stuff. And now where I'm at, since I've gotten to the point of acceptance so much now, that when I see when an opportunity or people arise and they come into my awareness, then it's like I don't have any expectations or aspirations at all. Like wherever it leads, and that's okay. And I'm not telling myself, oh, I just can't have sex ever again, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. It doesn't. No, because to me, that's more separation and denial.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it happens, like, if I meet somebody and we connect like crazy, so be it. You know what I mean? But I'm not putting any weight on it, though.
Yeah, I got you. So is there, from the energetic exchange, the exchange of soul code, is there any type of, is it any type of creative catalyst?
Oh my God, is it? That's actually what I've been consciously working on. I'll say the last 3 or 4 days, I've been, this whole using the Helios and all that, the just sexual energy, because I know how powerful that is as creator energy. I mean, that's pure creator energy. So that's something that I've been like really, really into the last few days, is really just getting into that, because that's been huge in my awareness, like constantly. So yeah, I'm on the path on that.
Yeah. And I think too, another thing about the creativity part of it is it's not like the old paradigm where, and it may be, but it's not limited to, like, say you have an exchange of soul code, and then, typically we might think, okay, I'm going to go write a poem, or I'm going to go do a song, or I'm going to go do a video, or a piece of art or something. But that the creativity seed actually is beyond just the physical. I mean, it's like, so like in your case, do you have any inclination or guidance or direction on where your creativity is going?
Well, I can tell you, inspiration is where I think, actually, there you go, inspiration. That's what it's creating for me, inspiration. So like this whole thing with, what I'm doing right now, we're living in the moment by moment. Like, I'm not planning anything. I'm not even planning what to eat for dinner. I'm not planning what to watch next. I'm not planning what to clean my house next. I'm not planning when to go to I'm not planning anything anymore. I quit that shit. I'm like, no more planning. I'm going to be here right now. I'm going to do this. Then when I'm done this, okay, what next? I don't know, but I'll find out.
You talked about going and hanging in an environment that you described at the top of the show, which might be like, for me, going back to my hometown, hanging out with my homeboys or whatever. Do you see any change in? I know you said I can sit in this environment. I'm there 2 or 3 hours. I don't get charged. I'm in observation mode. I can see them in their divinity, regardless of what it looks like to the human, because I'm seeing myself. But on the human level, have you seen any changes in the individuals that make up that crowd, like just in your personal experience?
Actually, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because probably about 2 hours ago, right before I started talking to you and stuff like that, I actually had that exact thought because I witnessed it. I will say for the last week, the last couple weeks, right about there, I've noticed that those type of people that are just refusing to accept anything, that they're getting really angry, like they're getting like snappy. They are biting each other's head. I mean,
That's
they're
always
coming at
what
each other.
happens, isn't it? We see it in the light
Yeah.
worker circles. People start projecting, big shift's coming. No,
Hmm.
but you've seen it in individuals, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially the last week, like the last 2 days, like yesterday, Christmas, and today, like everybody is. I mean, not everybody, because some more than others, but I just
Mhm.
noticed that they're throwing sparks at each other. They're literally they're throwing fire at each other, and I'm just sitting back and just watching it, and just like, wow, like they're really like they're amping it up. Whatever's going on, like stuff's coming up, and it's just coming up and coming up.
Always darkest before the dawn, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's why I'm even more enjoying and more just accepting it and not trying to fight it or change it or alter it. I'm just sitting back and I'm like, wow, like this is amazing. like,
I think
like
we're going to
it,
see more of that. I've heard people. I mean, I've listened to people on the show talk about it. I'd say kind of picked up second half of the year, but yeah, for everything 2020, what do we got? 5 days left, depending on what part of the country, part of the world we're in. 4 to 5 days left. I mean, for everything we've been through in 2020, one thing that's to me that's been uh, absolutely true has been as the days have gone by, the weeks, the months, uh, there's more experience, there's more code, there's more awareness. It's coming in faster, it's coming in larger. Every single segment of the journey, if you want to break it down to hours or days or weeks or months or whatever. So
mhm,
it's taught
yeah,
me to respect the not just the efficiency, for lack of a better word, but also the speed that this um, transforming
it,
reality can
it's
have.
literally at the speed of light now.
Yeah, and maybe faster.
Yeah, maybe faster.
Maybe
Exactly.
faster.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like just after the solstice, just a few days ago, I had an overwhelming feeling, and I still do, and it's never left me because this is the new energy. It's automatically I felt like I was home. Like I was walking through the front door of my old house, like I was walking through the front door of my old home, like home, because I've never felt at home here. I've always felt like I didn't belong here. Always, you know what I mean?
You talking about
But
on the earth?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and of course, being around other people, I've always felt like so different. I'm like, I just doesn't feel comfortable. But after the solstice, I literally felt like I walked through my front door of my real home. Like
Wow.
I'm like the energy. I'm like, oh, there it is. Like I missed you. You know what I mean? That was yeah.
Hey, this sister Cynthia, thank you, Cynthia, on YouTube. She just put up this comment. She said, "Intuition guides me all the time. Great way to live and travel. Awesome."
Mm.
She says,
Oh yeah.
also my entire solar plexus to my throat are like electric the last 3 days.
Mm.
I know I've had a lot of movement from, I would say, definitely the solar. Sometimes the sacral and the root are involved, but the solar up into the throat there's been a lot of movement there energetically. And I don't think I'm the only one. Have you felt any of that?
Oh yeah. Especially lately, the last few weeks and stuff like that, right up all and through there. Like just a lot of, you can just feel not the pressure really. It's kind of like pressure, but it's energy. I can feel the energy, and it's also my heart because my heart, you could always feel it, like the little sharpness every once in a while will be in there, and it'll
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you'll feel my chest will swell and all that. And lately it's been all over the place. Like sometimes I'll feel something there, something here, like my leg, my knee, my arm, my back, and it'll just kind of just like my whole body is just doing it now. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot of it in this area. And yes, I do feel some in my throat because I've had like a dry throat and stuff like that, like off and on. And I kind of feel that. But like now it's like whatever parts of my body that I haven't worked on enough, are now automatically coming online. Like whatever I didn't consciously work on, like automatically I think is being taken care of because of where we are now.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I feel that. Like some of the stuff I was getting from my body was, or whatever you want to call it. Let's go back, like say 2 weeks ago, was your body literally is transforming. You know, I mean, it's transforming in order to take this light in, or take this code in, or take the expansion in, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah. Yep. That's, I mean, just like we were talking about before, this 2021 hasn't even started yet. Think about that shit, you know?
I'm not looking at 2021. I'm still looking at the last 4 or 5 days of 2020.
And the last 3 days have been this powerful. Holy shit. So just imagine, I mean, imagine when the next minute, the next day, like you're saying, we're not even out of 2020 yet. And it's already been this powerful, and it gets substantially more powerful every moment, every single day.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, except that's it. You know,
except without exception.
Except with no exceptions.
Except with no exceptions. There you go.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. What else you got? Anything else? What's on your mind?
Excitement. Congratulations. I feel happy, and I feel so proud of everybody. I mean, like literally, I know this kind of sounds, you know, maybe strange, but I feel like somebody who's like, imagine being a parent and just watching their kid just do this awesome thing and they work so hard for. Like that's kind of how I feel. Because I mean, I'm not saying I'm the parent, but I'm just saying, but I just have that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud of me. I mean, I'm really like, I've actually said this the last couple of weeks. I looked in the mirror and I've been saying this to myself. I'm like, Steve, good job. Like you're freaking doing it. You know what I mean? Like you're doing it, man. I'm like, no more doubt. Leave that doubt out the window. That doubt is gone. Because back in before, we used to be like, oh well, you know, I don't want to talk too much nice about, you know, I don't want to say too many things, and I'm trying to, because I'm working on, I still have a lot to work on. I'm still blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, let's let that go. All right, I am where I am, and I'm going to accept it, and I love for being where I am. That's it. You know?
I just saw. Yeah, I'm with you. I got you.
Yeah.
CC Reed just put up, what is transforming is my surrender to potential and trusting in it, which is pretty much is what you were saying.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
having confidence.
That's true sovereignty. That is true
having
sovereignty.
Confidence in the, absolutely.
Because I'm 100% sovereign right now, and that's it. Like I said, there's no going back for me anymore. Done. You know,
hey, let's watch this 1 minute meditation by our brother Sacred Romeo. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
Okay.
New frequency downloading, recalibration of form as the neural pathways are recoding, networks of energy, currents pulsating and vibrating through my bones, awareness arising, constructs dividing, frequency of love integrated and aligning, the sacred space created as a release obfuscated and eliminated at the no longer aligned or reflected the frequency of the divine, vessels of light, ignite the magenta flame, reconnecting, resurrecting as it burns within my heart again. Memories awakening, timelines disintegrating, instantaneous releasing, the shimmering within, crystalline frequency anchoring beneath the skin. Rushes of the static light energy flowing through this avatar soul elasticity. Sensual, elemental, divine feminine vibes arise in this vortex of transcendental.
Wow.
It's pretty cool, right?
That's freaking awesome. I mean, that literally is perfect for right now, you know?
Dude, he is.
Wow.
Yeah, I've actually gotten together with Morgan, and I've gotten together with him a couple times in the flesh. Yeah. Very cool dude, man. Very powerful. He's like a unicorn to me.
And that, I mean, and that's another thought that just makes me so excited. Just all these awesome beings and that I'm going to meet here soon, like in this reality, like face to face. You know what I mean? Like, and of course, energetically, you know, ones as well too. But the ones that I'm actually going to share this experience with still being in this body and learning how to be greater and greater creators every moment, and have the awareness of a higher dimensional, you know, just a greater awareness, and to do it in this body. That is so exciting.
Well,
That is
man,
so exciting.
I've been putting these, I've been downloading, videos that people are putting out and putting a channel feed together. And when I watch them and then I put a show together, I can feel what you're talking about. I can actually feel their energy, and it's not separate from their body. Like when you first got on the internet, I know for me it was like 2013, and started messaging people, and it was, I would say, in the early years post 2012, you could start to feel energy. People started talking with images, right? I remember
Yeah.
there'd be people that would only comment with images, or even if you got a message in Messenger, it'd just be an image or just a couple of words, and you could really feel the energy exchange. But it was separate from the body. Now, as I watch these people, it could be just somebody talking, somebody doing some type of artistic expression, rap or poem or whatever the case is, but you can actually see the integration of their physical and their non-physical. So it's been pretty cool, downloading some of this stuff. I got a
That's
whole bunch.
awesome.
Yeah, very
You
cool.
can actually, it's like you're actually witnessing take place right in front of your eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, and to me, one of the reasons I'm excited about it, I mean, obviously the talk show and the talk show format is the biggest part of what we've been doing. But there's another element which I kind of see like two channels running 24 hours a day. One of them is just excerpts and interviews, and the other one is, and they'd be live and replays, and the other one just be a straight 24, 36-hour back to back to back light language, poetry,
Nice. Yeah.
conscious rap. I mean, just a flute playing. I mean,
Just
just
pure creativity stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
just stuff that people put
Uh-huh.
out there, and there's something about the non-verbalization, even if there's lyrical stuff in it. There's something about the expression, the energetic expression of the visual, the audio. Have it. Is there music? Whatever the case is, and there's something about what that delivers in terms of potential expansion to whoever might hear it or see it.
Oh yeah, and just exactly, and that's going to be so powerful. Like I said, anybody who's going to feel called to watch it, and if they're an age light worker that's been doing it, or somebody who just got the memo yesterday, whoever they are, that kind of stuff, because it's going to come from pure creational standpoint. It's going to
That's
come
right.
from heart center, and it's going to be real and genuine and authentic. I mean, it's going to be real. So anybody who witnesses it or watches it is going to pick up something. Anybody will. Everybody will.
Right on. Right on.
And of course, I can imagine you too having another, platform or channel to where just random live shows are just going to pop up.
Well,
It's
that's
just that
that's the ultimate. We got to get the first two. We got to get the first two on there. But once we do that, my dream has always been you have like DJs. That's not the right word. We have to call it something else. But where somebody, I do a show for an hour to an hour and a half, and I do commentary. I have a guest on, kind of like what we're doing now, play some music, whatever I want to do, and then I hand it over to somebody else in another part of the world, and we just keep it going 24 hours a day. Let's see.
Yeah, I like that.
Hang on a second. We got something just came up. Yeah, let's do this. So we've got a brother, and more than that, brothers and sisters who are a big part of Soulogy. A lot of you know Michael Mejia, Poetry of Michael. His brother Israel, who puts the videos together. They live in a household with Israel's wife, a couple other relatives, their mother and father, and they've been a big part of Soulogy over the last 3 or 4 months, and are as much a part of it as anyone else. Anyway, they're having a difficult time in their household. There's a lot of people sick, and I just wanted to take a moment, if everybody will join me in the circle of life as we stand together, hold hands with our angels and guides, and form a circle of life, and put everyone in that household in the center. And in this eternal moment, we send them all of our love and light, healing, peace, comfort, protection, and quick healing in alignment to that whole family, and love and light, love and light, and love and light.
I just picture a swirl of dozens and dozens of different colors, and just right in the middle of that circle.
Yeah.
Just giving them all that they need and want right now. All they.
And you know, this stuff works, man. You know, I've never been a healer. I've never considered myself a healer. I mean, I know we're all healers.
That's a big part of the doubt thing that I had to fight too. Does it work? Is it imagination? But you know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah, exactly. When you say having spiritual confidence, that's what I get. Is that, you know, it's in those things that are otherworldly that occur. And I was going to give an example. This stuff's been going on for a long time. I remember when I got a laptop in 2013, I started making friends. 2014, let's just say. I remember I met a friend, and she was a nurse in a convalescent facility, and there was a young girl about 20 years old, and she was kind of in a coma, basically. She hadn't woke up or whatever, and I was talking to my friend, and it was one of those things, just like today with me and you. I just got the urge. I just said, look, give her a third eye kiss from me.
Yeah.
And she took her finger and she put it on the girl's forehead. And in that moment, the girl, like I think it was after like 21 days, rose up and started talking.
Oh, wow.
Right? And so what I'm trying to say is, it's not about me. What I'm trying to say is, these are the things that you were talking about, the higher skills and abilities. All that intention that was just sent to the Mejia household is real. And all those colors that you saw are real. And
to not doubt them, not doubt it, accept
it.
Accept. Yeah.
That's right.
You know, that is beautiful. And it's, it's just really is. I mean, just how everything is working out and how everything is right now. And then when I look at everything that I've so-called been through and whatever, and just how I used to think and all that, it was so beautiful. Like literally, it was a symphony. I was playing a symphony and didn't even realize it. I mean,
right on.
wow. Yeah.
That's the acceptance. Yeah. So we want to mix it up a little bit, and I got to go run to the little boys' room. So this is a really cool conscious freestyle. This is a freestyle done by our beloved sister over in Australia.
Okay.
I'm going to play this. It's 4 minutes long. We'll be right back with Stephen Savage.
All right.
Unified love taken from soul codes. I desire a man who honors my truth, to never attempt to tame my spirit, a man who is willing to dive in deep to the depths of his heart to express himself freely and fearlessly, a man who is willing to be seen to express from his soul his wildest dreams, to live his own truth and free expression, to be awakened from within, serving humanity, who takes care of his own responsibility and sets into motion the most beautiful love potion, to learn from one another's language of love, to be able to stand in his power, to follow his bliss, and each on our own unique path, together and sometimes apart, to never feel shame or condemnation, stuck in the blaming game, to be the change, to make a difference within our global nation. Our love sets us up in motion, to expand the limits of our minds, to express only truth and love, to dissolve the planet's hate, to be the creators of our own fate, to own our own shit and never hide, to express our deepest desires with pride, to never play small again, to continue to evolve, to be the change, embodying personal responsibility. I desire a man who walks his talk, who is sensual and playful, to be proud of our love, to hold me close in a time of need, to be free and without one another, to desire one another with no need for one another, to always be honest no matter what, to be willing to listen and to let go of what was, to be in the totality of now as if this is all that exists, to meet resistance with humility and love, be compassion and understanding within a heartbeat, to see our reflections within one another, to explore the divinity within this divine presence, to join forces for a higher purpose, breathing and being in all that we are, expressing our unique essence within and without, to always be willing to step away, to give space and honor the other, to make self-love a high priority, to keep moving forward, each day a new adventure, a gift waiting to be explored, create moments of eternity, to be willing to grow and to be given a heartbeat, to learn from those lessons, to step up and not hide, unifying our love for one another, to live in the present no matter what, to play in the expanded reality of playing field of unlimited possibility, unleashed, fearless and free to be, collective consciousness, a gateway of a new worth awaits me. A man who adores and cherishes my soul, willing to dance with my wild free spirit. My spirit will know and my soul is willing to wait, for once we meet we'll know in a heartbeat. Two hearts sink into one, magical drumming sounds awakens the soul's tribal dance. Most vital is what we cultivate, manifest and co-create our unified love within one another, extended out words to all that we meet, purposeful passion, a magnetic force, a gift shared to all we shall meet, a simple smile, a gesture perhaps, guiding lights to inspire many upon their path. Our intoxication of deep pleasure and unconditional love, a divine reflection of one another, the natural rhythm of a sweet Mother Earth, the interchanging of Father Skies, our spirit in love, our faithful guide, our mission to rise in humanity's love.
That's pretty cool, right?
Wow, yeah, it is. That's awesome. Like just the flow and the creation of it and the words, just everything. It was just really nice and beautiful. Like I said before, right on point. And everything that you played tonight, man, has just been right on point to what we're talking about. Now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that is awesome.
I did this show. I haven't done that many this month. It's what, 26 days? I've probably done 25 shows maybe. And this sister that was on, I'm so bad with names. I don't guess we have names. Do we have names in 5D? But so she does. Catherine Kinney. That's her name. Yeah, she's been on twice.
Okay.
She does cosmic astrology, which is based on Pythagoras, who has downloaded to her directly.
Okay.
And anyway, so she was doing, as an example to show people, she was doing my numbers, right? Where you add the name up, the birth name, and you do one part of it, you do the consonants and the vowels. I don't know all the particulars. But anyway, what she was saying was that my numbers, or whatever they were, my purpose here was to illuminate basically the light of others. And I feel like that's what Soulogy's moving into, not like in a singular way, but a broadening way, where, like, I've used yours too. Yeah, I've got a couple of your stuff downloaded, and I do these radio shows, and I just put mixes of music and commentary and spirit walks and poetry, and just mix it up and try to find, like, it's like surfing. And I watch the field and see how people react. And what I'm starting to understand, it's not just the individual expressions, but it's the potential seamlessness between the two, right? Like you turn a page in the book, and even though, let's say, this guy did a conscious rap, and then this woman comes in and does light language, but they fit. They fit like, pieces in a sequential puzzle, right?
That's why it kind of brings me back to like the symphony. It's created of many different instruments and different notes, but they all come together to merge this beautiful thing. But the frequency has to be like all the instruments have to play the same kind of beat, I guess you could say, in order for the song to be beautiful. you know, and that's what it is. That's what you're doing. You're riding those waves of these different, you know, creators that are coming up with this stuff, creating this stuff, and you're finding the waves that are like waves, and you're putting them together so they are now, you know, yeah. That's beautiful. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so like, and then the other thing that I find really interesting about it too is there can be such a, you know, from a human perspective, there can be such a, not a diametrically opposed, but a very different genre or style or format or type of expression. And when you're talking about the symphony, the one that came back to me right at the top is this gentleman. I believe his name is Gary Wood. I could be wrong. I'm horrible about names. But this guy's amazing. He lives in New Zealand, and he actually records. If you go to his page or to his website, he records the plants singing, and it's like a symphony, right?
Really?
Here's
Wow.
a little piece that he put together, and this one talks to that a little bit. It's called the Fairy Glade, and it's pretty cool. Check this out.
Well, hello and welcome to the Fairy Glade. Close by the river, you can probably hear the river in the background. Overcast afternoon, winter. But the seasons don't make any difference at all to the unseen forest dwellers. And I have a little routine which I always go through when I come into the forest. Every time I come into this area here, I give thanks to the guardians of this land. I give thanks to the ancestors whose spirits are here. I also give thanks and acknowledge the little people, the unseen people, the Patapaiarehi, the fairy folks, the elves, whatever you like to call them, the beings which are here. I also thank every living thing in the forest for allowing me to come to this special place. The birds and the insects, the animals, every tree that is present here, I give thanks to especially. And then I like to say thank you to all the waters that flow around this land, under this land, and flow within every plant and every tree and every living thing that is here. Every stone, every branch has residues of water in it. And this resonates with us as humans, with the water we have within. So when I do this little routine, as I like to call it when I come here, it's not a ritual. I do it, I ad-lib it, it changes sometimes. But it's acknowledging the unseen presence. And the unseen presence is unseen to me physically, but I hear and I know. And other people that I bring to this area here, they see and they hear and they share with me. We've had all sorts of explanations, we've had all sorts of descriptions given for what is here. And it's so exciting, and I know that when I come and talk that there is an acknowledgement. And I know that so often, as a lot of you would understand, that when we go to special places and we take photographs around about, and then we put them up on our computer when we get home, and we look at the foliage, and we look at the leaves, and we look at the ground, and think, oh my gosh, look at that little face peering out from behind those leaves at me. I never saw it with the physical eye, but there was something there. So this is a place which is part of a fairy trail which comes from up the hill there. It goes right through on the fringes of this area here I've designated or called the Fairy Glade, across the main track there, down and across the river and up the other side. So this is just one of many, many fairy trails that are to be found throughout Aotearoa, New Zealand. And not only in places of forest like this, they're all over the land, they're all over the country. So, if we take the time to sit quietly within nature, or even in our own gardens, down the bottom of the garden, and we just allow ourselves to sink into the ambience of what's around us, we just allow ourselves to imagine to visualize. And then we will allow ourselves perhaps to hear and then to ultimately see. In this special place, there is a way that I can often tell when the presence is nearby. And I'll show you how I do this. I have here a couple of very simple dowsing rods. Some of you may be conversant with dowsing. And so I'm just going to see now if there is a presence here, close by, that's observing what we're doing today. Ooh. That's a positive. Is there anything in very close proximity? Wow. Are you hearing what I'm talking about? A very simple confirmation, and it's very heartening because, as I say, I sometimes hear, but at this stage I cannot see. So for all the times I step in here and talk to the unseen, they do acknowledge my presence, which is wonderful. It's really wonderful. So all these things are in the eye of the beholder. And some people may think this is so strange, talking about little fairies and big fairies. And they come in all sizes. I have a book, which I brought back from England a few years ago, and it describes 123 different types of little forest dwellers and the dwellers within nature. And this, of course, includes elemental beings. And elemental beings, I feel, are reflecting themselves and their presence through the music of the plants that I am recording. And I feel that the elemental beings for every plant are helping to express themselves and their being through the music of the plants. So that is a small introduction to the fairy glade and the fairy forest. Magical place for me and for many other people. And I'd like to think that sometime soon you'll come and visit this glade with me so we can sit here quietly and just contemplate and listen. So thank you very much, everybody.
So, we talk a lot about the galactics, and there's been a lot of talk about the galactics over the last few years. But to me, the inner earth and the elementals, the nature beings, those things that are rooted on the earth with us that we haven't been able to see through the visible light spectrum, to me, I feel very close to them. I really want to say that I feel like they're going to show themselves to us because of the expansion of our consciousness, which to me, our consciousness is our perception, right? Are you feeling anything like that?
Yeah. Well, that's actually, kind of partially what I stated a little bit ago when one of the big reasons of, getting on this road here, camping and just following my intuition is because one of the big things I want to do is go to wherever I'm called, kind of park or just wooded area, forest, wherever along the way. And I really, really do want to connect very deeply on a level that I can't even fathom right now with nature, fairies, just whom and whatever wants to appear to me. I want to accept and learn and because it's that I feel is one of my big things that I'm going to be working on right now is getting in touch with that and start bringing or help bridge the gap between where they are and where we have been, and yeah, I can definitely see that happen, on a wider level for more people. I mean, obviously you have a great connection to them, but me personally, I've always loved nature. I do, but I've never you know, or at least to my knowledge, had a connection to the fairies or talk to trees or talk to stuff like that. That just wasn't part of my journey, you know, in the past. But now I feel like that's a huge part of my journey from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like you're there and I'm here. And like you were talking about going into that environment earlier today, and you saw them as you, but yet they're there and you're you, you know, two separate places, you know, you might put it that way. I see more like the galactic and even the angelic part and the divine essence part that carried us through the, you know, I would say the early parts and even, you know, the middle parts and even beyond that in our journey of our awakening. Uh, they have been embodied. Like, have I embodied Stephen Savage? No. But have I embodied Archangel Michael or Jesus or Magdalene? Yes. Galactics? Yes. And to me, the elementals are like in between them, if you want to put it that way, and where we stand in the physical experience. And to me, I don't feel like I've embodied those things. I had an experience about a week and a half ago where I did. I sat in a council of trees and I was shown you're just like us. We're all one and the same, and I became part of the circle. But I feel like that's the next stage of embodiment is pulling in all the children, so to speak, of Mother Earth to include the Middle Earth beings. You know, these are no different.
Yeah.
Well, they are different than say my relation to you because we have a very physical experience we both can acknowledge in each other. But they're this side of the galactics and the divine essences and the angelics, and I just feel like they're going to be more prominent, almost like you know, what we're looking for is right before our eyes. We're always looking at the stars, and not to take anything away from the stars and all that that represents metaphorically, but the trees have spirit. You know, the animal kingdom has spirit. The plant kingdom has spirit. The wind has spirit. You know, these things that are right here in our physical existence that are going to take on more of a physicality because of our expanded awareness. I feel like that's going to be a part of what we see in 2021 as well.
That it's already here. It's always been here. They and all of that has always been around us. We've just been too preoccupied with our bullshit and our narrow-mindedness, and you know, to see all that. And yeah, I totally feel that, you know, and that is very exciting to, you know, to me especially because that's a one avenue that I haven't really delved deeply into yet. So, I mean, I have so much to explore and to learn. It's just, oh man, that is awesome. You know, it's, and every moment I learn and so much more all the time. And like I said, the whole nature, you know, just nature and all of that, and then the inner earth and just all of that stuff. Like I can tell you, I know very little knowledge. I mean, I could feel a lot from it, but I know very little knowledge about that kind of stuff. So I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to that stuff. I'm like, oh man, let's do it. Let's get in there and you know, let's get in there and play.
So, do you know what direction you're headed when you leave in 2 weeks?
All I know is it's west because I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah.
That's all I know. It's going to be
you
that.
Go to California, you go to Sedona,
Yeah.
Washington State.
I have a feeling that I will be. Oh, definitely. And I want to go as many places as I'm going, you know.
Do you have snow tires? Because you picked a good time of the year to do it. It's going to be depending on how far north you are.
Well, that's another reason why I am going to stick down south a bit. I'm probably going to cruise west, stay towards the lower, you know, part of the United States. I mean, I might go up in the middle a bit, but I don't know, like, because I mean, I do have decent tires and all that, but I don't know if I'm going to shoot straight up north and go.
Your tent doesn't have heat.
Right. No, yeah. So I think I'm going to, I mean, I'll see what my intuition tells me, obviously, but I can imagine it's going to stay probably towards the southern hemisphere of the United States and then shoot, you know, and wherever that takes me and maybe up in the middle a little bit. But yeah, probably something like that. But
are you going to be doing any videos, any spirit walks, any lives from the road, that type of thing?
I can see myself, you know, doing videos on the road and like spirit walks, and as I go through nature and just whomever I, you know, may meet and stuff like that. Yeah, I can definitely, I have a very strong feeling that that's going to be a part of my journey. That's going to be a part of my trip as well. Doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have it set up to where we could actually take you on live and then multi-stream it, so that as you're going down the road, people that are watching, just like that happened with me and Morgan, when we would say we're going here, we're going there, people would come out and say, hey, come by and see me, and that type of thing. And we do some cool impromptu videos. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think that's a type of video or live or expression that I was referring to earlier. These things that I'm playing, these songs and the light language and that type of thing. those things are recorded, for the most part. Some are done live and then put up. But I mean, to do stuff in the spontaneous, I think is really offering us more code than anything, because you're past the point of embarrassment. You just go for it, right?
Yep. You're literally letting go of any chains or whatever you had. You're literally just like you're floating in the ocean. You're like, okay, all right, let the waves take you instead of trying to paddle yourself to shore every time. And
Bags of Love on YouTube just says stop at North Carolina, and CC Reed says make sure you get to the giant redwoods.
Oh my, yeah. Like I said, I have never done California or any of that yet, so I'm definitely looking forward to just all of that part of the United States. I mean, closest that I've been was over to Vegas and Reno, but I've never done anything else over there. So that's going to be awesome. Check out all the redwoods and just all of that, because it's going to be new to me. Yeah, it's all going to be new to me, and especially all of it. Even the places I've been before are now going to be new to me. Every place. Even here, my own house here, it's now new to me. You know what I mean? Like that's the way I'm choosing to look at everything. Everything is now new to me. Everything, everyone, every place, every person, every thought, every emotion. It's now new to me. So I'm not going to, attach my old beliefs or my old thoughts on that anymore. I'm like, no, let's not do that. Let's just make everything new. Like I wake up, like I was just born again today, literally.
Right.
That's what I'm going to do. Every morning I wake up, I'm going to be like, okay, I was just born. So I'm going to have, newborn eyes, and they're going to be open, and let's see what comes to my awareness, and let's look at stuff. And yeah. So, yeah.
Right on. Right on. Alana Hartman just said, if you subject yourself to nature, it will show you the magic. And I think that's how this universal energy that's expanding on the planet, that's coming down through the sun, or however you want to put it, I think that's how it works, which is what you're doing. It's not the literal of I'm going to jump in the van, I'm going to go. It's the energetic statement that you're making. You're stepping into that power, right? And that power then reciprocates to you. I mean, it gives you an immediate return, and that return doesn't operate by the same math that the 3D did,
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, you really can't use that, and you can't use any of those old tools or those old thought patterns of how 1 + 1 = 2. You really can't use that stuff anymore. Not in this, not where we're going, not where we are.
Right on.
Yeah.
How's your uncle doing?
He's actually doing good. He's
he's still putting up with you.
Well, I've had this house to myself now for the last 2 or 3 months.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, so it's just been me, which has been perfect, because I've really been able to go deep.
Very cool.
Very cool. So he's living with family right now because of some health issues and stuff like that.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, so for about the last 2 or 3 months, I'll say the last 2 months, it's just been me in this house and left to my own devices and my own, intuition and will.
Right on. Healing, peace, and love and comfort to him.
Oh,
hope
definitely,
he gets better.
Definitely.
Speaking of Michael Mejia, let's put a little Michael Mejia Israel creation here, and we'll be right back.
Okay. About how long do you think?
I am not concerned
4 minutes.
with the name of your God. Show me how this God has transformed your heart Do you meet the spirit of every soul with reverence? Do you embrace all of life with a tender touch of eternity? You say you will only bow before the Christ. To bow before God is to bow before life. Your tongue seeks blood, and your words have become knives. Your sight scarred and bisected, and your actions fed by your wounds and unleashed as animus. Surely this is not the messenger of God. Burn your beliefs, for they have contaminated your heart. Let all desire reveal itself as one in a field full of flowers. You yearn to bloom, to be love, but to only feel one's pain is like a bird without wings, so afraid of the dark, so afraid to enter your heart. There is nothing in this world that will lead you back to God except for your pain. And then, like the monarch who meets the tears of those dead, a feeling, your breath will recede and your spirit will glimpse grace. Within the raptured heart and mind, the spirit becomes renewed in sight. You have not reached redemption until everything becomes God in your eyes.
You know, a lot of great poets and artists like Michael write and express from the pain that we've all experienced as part of the human experience. But I'm getting the impression that there is no pain anymore. Oh, wait a minute. You're muted.
Okay.
Sorry, start again.
Yeah, no, I was saying I feel the same way. Like pain, I don't even like using that word anymore. Like even when I was trying to describe, one of my ascension symptoms, it's like lately, if I try to use the word like pain, I'm like, that's not right, because it's not pain. It's, and all the pain supposedly that we did go through and put ourselves through. I mean, it was that flower digging roots. It was that digging roots in the ground so we can blossom. And that's what we're doing. And if it wasn't for all that stuff that we've been through and pain, we wouldn't have those strong roots in our bodies. We're here. But that's beautiful, though. I mean, and I'm going to take all this, all this new information that I've just learned about, especially nature and all this kind of stuff. That's stuff that's coming to my awareness because all the, stuff that you're sharing with me, with us. I'm definitely going to. I have a lot of stuff in my toolbox. I'm gonna, with intention go into, but of course be open to whatever arises and whatever happens, but at least with intention, because intention, as we all know, intention is extremely powerful. If you really are good at putting your intention on something, or even a thought pattern or a frame of thought, then your results just come at you 10 times faster.
Yeah.
And I have a lot more intention now than I used to, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched a David Icke video about 3 days ago, and he talked about what is consciousness. And he said consciousness is perception. And I think, to me, if I say my consciousness has evolved or changed or elevated or expanded, to me, it's more meaningful to say that my perception has changed or altered or grown or elevated or expanded. And and I think for me, it comes down to what I'm exposed to, what is put before me, right? And there are no coincidences, and everything happens whether you pick up a book and open the book and you're reading a certain something, or you hear a song on the radio driving down the road, or you walk into the forest. When you get out there and some bird lands on a tree 6 feet away from you, or whatever the case is, right?
Everything, anything and everything.
Yeah. It's all talking to us. And our perception of it changes. It's not like, oh, look, that's kind of weird. A bird just landed over there. But no, there's a message behind it all.
Yeah. And see, I'm just starting to glimpse that on a continuous level, like all the time now. Like now when I find myself in any situation, whatever it may be, and I just witness the world around me, I mean, it's like you really do see it with new eyes. I mean, you really, like, now when I see that kind of stuff, when I see just the world, doing what the world does, it's like it's meant for me. Like, it's like everything that is around me, everything I experience is meant for me. It's good, it's awesome, it's amazing, and before, in the past, I was just unaware of it, and I would put judgments on it, and I would say, label this is that, this is that, this is that. And the more and more I get rid of labels and putting things in little boxes and categories, then the more is shown to me, and the more connection I feel with it all, which is all part of embodying and basically, yeah, acceptance. And I'm so excited just to see where the next week or two, because once I get on the road here in the next few days, which I'm sure, not saying that every day while I'm here isn't going to be just as amazing as the last has been, because I know it will be, but just the thought of going to all these different places, meeting countless amount of beautiful soul people. I mean, just beautiful souls all over this, country, and who knows, fairies, elves, who knows who I'm going to run into? Who knows what I'm going to run into? And that's what's so exciting.
Just film it. Whatever you do, just film it. Coordinate it with me and put it out there.
Will do. I will definitely make sure I have some good storage, and that I'm able to, take a lot of, videos and stuff like that. Definitely. So then, of course, I want to do live stuff as well too. That'd be cool.
Right on. Yeah, let's coordinate it together. Do you have any light language message today?
Honestly, the last month or two, that hasn't been in my field, because I feel like that was old. Like, I know this kind of sounds weird, but I feel like that light language, at least for me, was old language. Like, I feel like I'm developing something much different now, and I'm still working on that because I don't have a clue what it is. But I feel like something's coming. I feel like there's a whole nother level. But that's just what I've been feeling.
Right on. You have no idea what it is, though.
I know, and nothing. Like, I don't even have a clue, and it's all. And I love that. Not even a clue. Not even a clue.
Let's do one more before we head out of here. Let's bring in some divine feminine, and then we'll come back with some closing comments.
Awesome.
This is our beloved sister from Vancouver, British Columbia, Candace Co.
Candace Co. She's awesome.
then you have these nonverbal expressions like that. And it could be a piece of art, could be, some videography, whatever. And, through the intention that's infused into it by the person that creates it, there's code. No different than, watching a talk show or conversation like this or whatever the case is. So there's so many different types of expressions coming through in so many different ways that I think it's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, definitely. And also too, I just want to throw this out there, something about intention that kind of came to me too. This is a proof of how powerful intention is. Think about how we were raised and the stuff that we had to deal with, back when we were, well, I guess asleep, whatever you want to call it, just not aware. Intention, that stuff was put out there intentionally to manipulate us, intentionally to give us false information. And that was the intention behind a lot of this stuff. So that's how powerful intention is. So if we just simply take that ability, use it for our benefit, because it's been used against us for a long time. Well,
it's time to flip it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's use this shit. I mean, and we're way more powerful than, so our intention,
it's crazy because we became what we saw ourselves as separate from. Like, what I mean is we have all been in relationships or had a job or a boss or whatever that element, that energetic element that was part of our experience. Could be a church, could be an organization, whatever. So it was not congruent. It was based in duality. We could not communicate with it. And so many people have come on the show and talked about how they felt like they weren't from here, like what you said earlier. I mean, how they thought everybody and everything ran the way they understood things, but they didn't. We're talking about the journey of an empath. We're talking about having to conform or trying to conform and fit in. So thereby we became that which we were separate from, even if we thought we weren't. And so now we flip it and we change our frequency and we elevate and expand and we hold that frequency, just like you talked about at the top of the show when you went into that gathering earlier today. You held your frequency, and the effects of that, you may not have seen them right away in the people, but what's external is now going to match you at an aligned potential versus trying to do what we did before, which was align with that, which was outside of ourselves, almost on a rational basis, like giving ourselves up, trying to fit in and be like something we're not. So now we're going to be what we are, and all that around us, including people, will match that frequency.
But we can no longer be we can only be authentic now. And that's what I'm really, really noticing. I mean, like, it's hitting me like a brick wall. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have a choice but to always be honest. It's no longer a choice for me anymore. I literally don't have that choice, and I have to be authentic. If I'm not, like, literally, like, if I noticed in the last few days or whatever, like, if I notice that I'm not being authentic 100%, that awareness of me not being authentic, purely, just 100% myself, that hits me in the face, and I'm like, and I can't deny it. So next time, like, it just gets faster and faster and faster. Like, if you try to be deceitful or to even hold stuff back that that you should put out there, because even that's kind of not being authentic. If you're holding yourself back from shining your light, that's still a form of not being authentic. So it's, all of that, everything matters. It all matters.
Yeah, if you're not being authentic, if you're not going to be authentic, you're going to get your ass kicked. Especially as time goes on.
It's going to hurt. It is. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it was good seeing you, bro. I'll see you soon.
I'm telling you, man.
See you soon in the flesh.
It's no doubt. It's been a while, but I tell you what, though, every moment was worth it, because here we are, and let's do this, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
We're gonna head out the door with another piece by Sacred Romeo. It's pretty cool. It's called Galactic Master Power Light Language Rap Transmission.
Nice.
But I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks or whenever you get over here. Whatever.
Indeed. Awesome. All right.
And
Love you guys.
We'll build a fire and see what happens, all right?
Oh yeah. Who knows? Anything and everything, right? Let's see.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Here's a little Romeo Barron as we go out the door. I'm going to probably do a radio show here in another hour or two and put some of these different expressions together in a mixtape. Talk to you later, Stephen. Take care.
Ya. No, you know it. Take care. Bye.
Yunusai, Irihanina, Irikanina, Erikande, Yanas, Yalkamnene, Deresunyana, Daljamne, Darshamdina, Aljamde, Deresunyana, Delichamne, Sunyan, Haljan, Isham, Ete, Sunyan, Daljan, Ese, Susham, Archana, Delichamne, Derekamne, Deresamne, Sushamdan, Aljamde, Susham, Aljam, Ete, Sujan, Aljam, Deresujan, Namdele, Sarjan, Elicindan, Aljam, Ramjan, Aljam, Delijandan, Dersan, Arjan, Etu, Danhan, Yetan, Esunyanan, Delikandan, Aljam, Sujandan, Aljam, Kandan, Tele, Zandere, Kandere, Andele, Jandere, Sujana, Nantele, Jan, Sujana, Nantele, Derikandele, Jana, Derikanana, Elisujana, Aljamene, Sujana, Alçanından delece Tufyanla, Aşan, Yeşana, Lesoyna, Nantila, Gerkanela, Yaşan, Deşana, Nantele, Tuşana, Nantele, Şana, Derşanından dete, Tufyan, Alçan, Ete, Tufyan, Nante, Yalikandeli, Dere Suşana, Yalşanından, Yalşanından, Grande Yanas, Vaşa Yanas, Ram Yanas, Yani, Yalşanından, Yalsuyana, Yalşanneha, Yalşannena, Alçande, Desunyana, Nantele, Jandele, Desu, Yante, Arjan, Ete, Deresunyana, Nantele, Jan, Teresan, Elsaljan, Arjanenan, Aljanene, Desujana, Nantele, Jante, Ersujana, Aljan, Eja, Efujana, Nantele, Jante, Aljan, Eja, Efuja, Delesujana, Delesujana, Aljanehe, Delesujana, Eljanelehe, Yaljanenan, Gerekandele, Jan, Esujana, Ante, Yalje, Etu, Yalşandele, Tuşanante, Deresujana, Arjujana, Arjandi, Deresujana, Nandele, Jan, Elete, Sujana, Arjandele, Jana, Arjana, Deltamdena, Arjandena, Arjandehe, Desujana, Daljandehe, Arjandehe, Arjandehe, Yarjandere, Jandalje, Mandelehena, Deresanena, Delesujana, Yalikanena, Deresunan, Arjandele, Tesunandan, Yarikandele, Tesandandan, Junas